people 10xing the size of their business as a result. I can do it all myself. I really discovered delegation.
Join Panida, Wayrojpitak on the Techful Founder podcast. Empower your startup journey as a non-technical founder with actionable insights from successful entrepreneurs. Barry has helped over 10,000 small businesses scale using virtual teams, not with fluff, but with real systems. Today, he reveals the surprising truth behind how one assistant can 10x your business and why most founders overlook the strategy. What exactly is a virtual assistant and what skills should they possess?
So a virtual assistant is, people get a little bit confused. Sometimes think, is that an AI? Is it a real person? I'm not really sure. What is it? So a virtual assistant is a remote worker who is helping you to get tasks done. It could be anything that can be done remotely with a computer, or if they live someplace where you can ship them things, you can send them things, they could send stuff back to you. It's a person who's working away from your office, often overseas. There's many different countries you can get virtual assistants from, but we actually prefer working with Philippines specifically. And then I have two companies. One works with the Philippines very specifically. The other one is my marketing company. We work with a lot of remote personnel who are in India as well, and as well as South America, South Africa. But I've been working with remote personnel for years, and just because that's great. I can work at home. They can work at home. It all works out great.
So it's more of a contract basis, right? Not as full-time employee.
No, I could be full-time. With our teams, we basically choose for the role. So the person has skill set that's specific to the role that they're dealing in. And so we want them to be a long-term member of that person's team. So they might work for 10, 20, 40 hours a week. And and that position can become stable and long-term. And we want to help you make them part of your team and such.
I see. So what tools do you recommend for managing virtual assistants effectively?
Yeah, good. A few different things. And it kind of starts with character and mindset as well, because AI is becoming a big thing. That's a tool that they might want to use. But more important and more fundamental than that is character. So one of the tools is training. And there's a course that I recommend and have all my people do. It's called The Way to Happiness, which is a character education course.
Interesting.
And it's pretty cool. I'm going to actually share the link with you.
Sure.
The Way to Happiness is a character education course that helps people to make better choices in life. And it teaches you fundamental things like be industrious, meaning work hard, get stuff done, be competent, take the time to learn things. And that's how you develop competence, looking, learning, practicing, studying, treat others as you'd want to be treated, respect the religious beliefs of others, all these different things, including various virtues and things that are kindness, how to be patient, fulfill your obligations, do what's expected or what you said you would do. All of these things add up to good character. So the foundation is those things, right? Those pieces of good character. The other thing is there's other training that we provide because we want them to have an assistant that they're really happy about. So we want them to be efficient and stuff. So we provide training that helps to improve efficiency, improve communication skills as well. And then we lay down expectations with people. What is expected in a particular job? It needs to be clear up front. There need to be standard operating procedures. There needs to be a schedule. I know you said tools, but these are tools of sort. Reporting on a regular basis, having a schedule in place. These are all things that is super important that you do as a fundamental to get the groundwork laid. And then we do time tracking of our staff. We install software on their computers. So we track time to make sure they can clock in, clock out. And that's what they do to get paid. And because we handle everything for the clients, we handle pay, we handle any upsets, difficulties, training expectations, following up on things that might be maybe people run into stuff in life, helping to sort things out, replacing people for temporary or completely, adding additional personnel. So I guess we're a resource as well, because we basically help people to manage and grow their team that we are providing for them.
I particularly like what you said about character training because I think that's one of the most important thing, especially with AI coming in and the ability to replace people and the fact that if people have good character, they can have that edge
Yeah.
in the workplace.
Yeah, it's very true. Because AI doesn't have character or ethic, doesn't have ethics. Gets confused if you talk to it about ethics.
Can you share some tips for successfully integrating virtual assistants into a business?
Absolutely. Yeah. Some of the stuff that we covered is really good. Like, for instance, what are some things that you hate doing? Make a list, right? What are some things you hate doing? List those things out. What are some lists that you don't know? What are some things you don't know how to do that you need done in your business on a regular basis? And what are some things that you shouldn't be doing, right? You should not be spending your time doing those things because value your time. Hopefully, if you have a business, your time is worth $100 an hour, $1,000 an hour, sometimes $10,000 an hour. There are things that you do that are worth a lot of money for your company. So you want to delegate those lesser tasks that are worth $10 an hour. You should be getting rid of everything that's worth $10 an hour. And even often, if you can delegate and get help with things inexpensively or reasonably priced, things that are worth $100 an hour, then that would be really good for you. Or if you could teach your team to produce things that are worth $100 an hour to you, or even $1,000 an hour. So taking a look at these things, making these lists of key things, that within your business is really important. And you can take that list and you can start off with one of the things is people don't know how to necessarily create training. Well, I actually have the excuse that they don't have time to train somebody. It's a real problem. You have to take the time to train somebody. You have to go ahead and take that time. It's super important. But the way to do it, maybe you want to write up a process for one of your team members. You're kind of like, I don't know where to start. I don't know how to write it up. Fine. So what you do is pretty simple. It's going to be delegation is a process. It's something done over time. You figure out what you're going to delegate, which you can use the 3 lists that I mentioned, or you can there's a booklet I'm going to put in the chat right now, which you can download called 249 things that a virtual assistant can do for you. And you look through and you make a big list of what you want to turn over. Then, and there's more I could tell you about that. I could go on about just that one thing for a while, figuring out what to turn over, but don't make it complex. Come up with some things. Use the various things I mentioned, the list I just provided, come up with things you got to turn over, and then show your virtual assistant, go through while you're recording the meeting, record the interaction, every single interaction with your virtual assistant. You could use a tool like Fathom AI and that's a great tool, right? I use it for my meetings. And basically you're going to take that tool and you're going to record what you should do. And you should show your screen when if you're meeting with them in Zoom, share your screen so Fathom can record the screen as well. And then you'll take them through and show them a task or explain a task or run through a task fully with them. And then have them take that recording and the videos and screenshots and write up and give them a little bit. I provide my clients or can provide my clients easily with a template for a standard operating procedure, which by the way, always starts with a purpose. What's the purpose of this task? So then we take that recording and your client you have the virtual assistant write up the standard operating procedure. They write it up with screenshots, video and everything. They present it back to you. You review it with them and you say, okay, let's fix this, just fix that. Great. That's great. And then you oversee and see what they're doing and watch what they're up to and basically make sure that they're doing it correctly and then let it go. Right. And then over time you develop and refine that with them and turn it into a standard process that you'll have forever. Even if you expand the team and want to give this person further responsibilities, If you replace the person for some reason, because things happen, you've got these write-ups, these videos and everything, which you've stored and you've maintained under your, by the way, just a tip, make sure you have ownership of those files. Because if you do, for some reason, if you're virtual assisting, their email account gets shut down, and they're the only one that has ownership. When that email account goes away, so does all that stuff that they created for you. Save your stuff, save your recordings, save the copies of what they create. Make sure those are valuable documents that you now have taken time to create, invest in, and create with them. And so now you've got a tool that's going to be key for you expanding your business. And then the other thing is lay out expectations. I could teach people how to do a time audit from time to time if they want to do a time audit of what the VA is doing. Get weekly reports, set up an Asana board where you can take tasks from assigned, progress, done, right? Things like that. These are all just basic things that we can help somebody put in place. Very helpful, like super, super useful in helping to manage your person and make the most out of it. And I'd say the last thing would be give them KPIs, key performance indicator statistics, which basically they can tell that. So if it's going up, then they're doing the right stuff, right? And they can have a success with regards to that. And so can you get, oh, things are working, right? What are the KPIs? Measure them for them, measure them for you, let them see that they're winning. And then lastly, acknowledge your assistant often. Let them know that they're doing a great job. Let them know, I once ran a Toastmasters group. I established which is a group that you get together and you learn how to do public speaking. And one of the guys there taught me a thing. He said, the way to basically critique someone is to do a sandwich method. And you have a compliment, something you like about them, the correction, and then another compliment, something you like about them. So that they end up with more, when they end up with more validation and admiration than they do correction. And I've even done that when I fire people, and they end up shaking my hand and being happy as they leave.
Wow. Wow, that is next level.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah, I think there's a lot you can do, as you say, to ensure that everything is on course, Asana boards and KPIs. So what do you think how can virtual assistants help reduce stress for business owners?
Wow. What are things that you hate doing? Things that stress you out because they're backlogged? What are obligations that they could help you fulfill by taking them over? And these are some of the things that cause you stress as an individual. So if you can get, really, there's sort of a buyback rate or there's a cost. There's here's the thing, right? Here's a little formula, right? Take how much you're making a month, divide it by how many hours you work in a month, and then divide that by 4. And that's the rate that you could afford to pay somebody to take things off your plate. And if you can get somebody to take things off your plate for that, like if you're making $120,000 or whatever, let's say you're making $120,000 a year, $10,000 a month, then you can afford to hire somebody to take things off your plate for $16 or $15 an hour or less, right? And if you do that, you can buy back your time, right? Buy back your peace of mind so that you can invest it in other things that are important to you. Maybe growing your existing business, maybe building a new business, a second business, maybe spending time with your family. I would recommend to my clients that they do the character education course too. And they think with that so that they can use, like one of the sections of it is fulfill your obligations. You have obligations personally, spiritually, family, business, with clients, with your personnel. Fulfilling your obligations and treating others well is key. If you could use a virtual assistant to do that, you can outsource your peace of mind.
Definitely. So what about founders who are mostly solopreneurs and they don't want to delegate?
They're in trouble and they're not, and that's fine. Maybe they don't want to delegate. They should get one assistant that they love and then
Mhm.
teach that person everything we just talked about. Have that person do all the delegation for them, right? But they have to
Ah,
take themselves into it, right? They have to basically say, give one person that they love, right?
mhm,
Develop a one great assistant, be willing to pay a little bit more for that person, give that person bonuses,
mhm.
teach them everything we just talked about.
Oh, so just delegate the delegation. So, what's the biggest misconception about hiring virtual assistants?
I would say that expecting one of the things is expecting that they're perfect and that things are going to be perfect right off the bat is a process. Another thing would be that they're going to be okay if you don't show up for your expected meeting with them. You need to reschedule it and use manners with your virtual assistant too, because they're good people and you want to you want to help them, you want to give them the validation that they deserve as individuals and treat them well. Again, we're into treating others as you want to be treated, which is covered really extensively in the way to the course that I read.
But in a business, there's always a point where you have to fire people. But like you said, you do it with constructive criticism, right?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, it didn't work out. I say, I don't know what's going on in your life. Hey, you're a great person. You've got great test scores. You've got lots of good experience. Yeah, you got lots of good experience. You've got skills. You've done great jobs for people in the past. We checked out all these things. Otherwise, we wouldn't have hired you. So I know that's true. But blah blah blah. Let me down. This didn't work. I'm sorry. So we're gonna have to let you go. We've tried this a number of times. Just take this as a learning experience. You're smart. I can tell you've got a high IQ. I know because I tested it. So you're going to learn from this and you're going to be great. You're great. Don't be sad or anything. You're an awesome person. Go learn from this. You can even reapply. Here's some courses I want you to do. I want you to redo the Way to Happiness course online. I've got a few other courses I want you to do. And I want you to, and then go work on yourself for a few months. And if you want to reapply and get another job here after, that's fine.
Wow. I wish all rejection letters look like this.
That's not
They need to take note.
we should have a really nice rejection letter, like a rejection letter you could send. Sorry, you didn't apply. Yeah, someone else got this particular job, but hey, take heart. You might win. You might get it in the future. By the way, here's some training that we'd recommend for you to improve your skill level and such. Do this training, and then you'll be able to put it on your resume next time you apply with us.
Perfect.
He's getting free training that's available online.
So, what are some success stories that you've seen from businesses that effectively use virtual assistants?
People 10xing the size of their business as a result, people starting other businesses, right? People expanding their income by double. These are people being able to take a little bit of time off, relax, and enjoy their family. These are just some of the things that I see happening on a regular basis with virtual assistants.
Which industry do you think have you seen that has had the most result?
That's had the most result.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think that's a matter of which industry. We service a number of industries. The list goes on. I think anyone can use a virtual assistant. I think you could even use one in your personal life. It's
Uh,
help you with your personal things. If you could help outsource some things in your personal life that you don't want to do because you want to invest in your business, your family, your children, your nonprofit that you want to spend time with. That's what you should do.
Interesting. So, what advice would you give to someone that's just starting to work with virtual assistants?
Listen to this podcast that we just recorded 5 times and then call me.
Sure thing. How do you build a strong working relationship?
With a virtual assistant,
Yeah.
I'd say applying everything we just covered, giving them things that they can win at, that they can, helping them to grow personally, applying manners and the virtues that are in the Way to Happiness course, treating them the way you want to be treated, all those things.
So, can you share a failure that you experienced when you first started working with virtual assistants and what did you learn from it?
Sure. Yeah. I would say that the first thing I did fail to do was basically expect them to go on automatic without the tools that I just put in, like a daily report. Okay, I'll check in with you in a few days. And then 2 days go by and I couldn't figure this out. And so I didn't get anything done. Having a daily report line is a really
Uh,
We've also fixed that in different ways. Like we do personality testing. So we find high communication levels so that we find people that are aggressive in a good way. They act a little bit proactive in what they do so that, so you don't run into that as much, but you still need to have those check-in systems. If anybody reaches out to me, I'll give them a 4-page system that they can have that'll help them to give them a bunch of tools right off the bat that'll help them to monitor and improve productivity with any virtual assistant, any remote personnel. Yeah. All they have to do is reach out to me. They can reach out to me at barry@stampedebranding.com.
Sure. So, what belief about business growth have you held on throughout your career?
Really applying that way to happiness, those virtues, I've had those. And in my life, it's character education. It's all denominational. It's stuff anybody can apply. I've applied it in my life for the last 38 years since I first discovered it. And it has helped me grow in some way every single year since.
Wow. Yeah, I think a lot of people, in terms of starting a business, it can be quite isolating and miserable for some. And I think the fact that you talk about how you can actually be happy in the process, I think that's very important because if you can't enjoy the process, what are you really doing things for?
Exactly. Find something where you have some fun. If you're miserable, then take a look at your life. You can you can reach out to me on that too. If you're miserable in general, good. I have some people I work with that can help with that.
Perfect. So, what was the turning point in your journey that changed your perspective towards delegation?
I think that I just found out that I was overwhelmed and couldn't do it all myself. Actually, I really discovered delegation, effective delegation, and developed it through lots of practice. It's a process, right? It's not a thing that happened, boom. But I worked in nonprofit for years and I needed to activate volunteers or other staff in the nonprofit to help with projects like events we were holding. And I would basically get other people in the nonprofit to give me personnel and I'd collect volunteers because otherwise it just wasn't getting done. And there's no way for me to get it all done all by myself.
So, you've been through the whole process of needing to bring people on,
Yeah,
essentially.
absolutely. That's exactly right. Yeah. This is great, by the way. I think it's awesome. I really appreciate you having me on the show and I'm excited to go watch some of your other episodes. And if you want to have me back and talk about marketing or some other subject, I'd be happy to come. It's really good.
Of course. Thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thank you.